Jason UX, and this is Why You Can't Have a Baby Elephant for Christmas by the channel geographic. I think it's self-explanatory, but if it's not, let's just say, why can't you have a 300-pound baby who's just gonna go up in weight like really fast? Yeah, there was a story in India about I'm pretty sure it was India, in some king who wanted to punish some guy, and he gifted him an elephant because like you can't really hurt an elephant, right? So he has to take care of that elephant, and that alone was a punishment in itself. Because taking care of elephant is not a joke, right? It needs to feed a lot. But laws of physics doesn't change. So if something's gonna go from 300 pounds to eventually 10,000 pounds, it got to eat that, right? So yeah, and not to mention it's an elephant, right? If this channel geographic hasn't made point enough yet, elephants can fuck you up if they want to. They are not some like mad rage baiting like some like dumb animals. They're one of the smartest animals on the planet. They can fuck you up though. They can track you down like a fucking assassin while the music playing in the background like Agent 47. I don't know why people want I want to have a baby elephant. Isn't that cute? This is most first world problem level shit. And I know it's not just first world problem, but still, it's like, even if it's not first world, it's first world adjacent, right? Because you see something cute, you're like, oh, isn't that cute? I want it without even thinking about it more than a few seconds. Like, you have to be properly rich and coddled if you don't realize the threat element, right? It's like your basic, like, caveman senses is not working. You've been like you lived too much of a leisure life, let's just say. So let's watch one.
Hey you guys, just wanted to come on here and talk to y'all because I know there's a lot of accusations, a lot of misconceptions regarding where I've been, why I haven't posted in a while, my coming back, and I'm not really good at making these kind of videos, but I think it's time I address the elephant in the room.
Ever since I was a baby, elephants were the animals that were my favorite, and this summer I became the favorite animal to an elephant's baby, and I learned that baby elephants are the most dangerous, reckless, logically bankrupt, whatever this is, threats to human welfare, and the cutest thing I've ever run away from. This is the face of a war criminal. So in case you were considering adopting this cankled crash out into your life, I traveled halfway around the world to beef with a baby elephant, so you don't have to. This is baby June. She's a 9-month-old wrecking ball on 4 legs with no regard for human rights. You see, June be wanting to play, and you got to tell her no, but she don't listen. And that's the problem. Baby elephants are too playful for well, actually it is.
Babies are too playful. He's right. It just clicked in my head, right? Like you see all those videos of elephant like backing away from small animals because it doesn't want to hurt it. It's an elephant. It's smart enough to realize like, oh, by the way, I can kill these things in literally half a second. I don't want to do that. I don't want to kill things and literally backing away, which automatically makes elephant high on my list of like respected animals in itself. But it's just like backing away slowly because some some Wolverine or whatever like was chasing it, right? Baby elephants don't understand that, right? Baby elephants don't know like, oh, by the way, I'm a 300-pound baby, I'm gonna hurt something.
Is for their good. You'll notice that a lot of the smartest animals are also the most playful, and playing actually consolidates the skills you'll need later in life. It's actually been proven that the elephants that play the most as kids end up more well-adjusted and adaptable as adults. It's why you'll see these videos of elephants chasing around birds, chasing around dogs, and just wrestling each other. Problem: it's one thing for an elephant to roughhouse another elephant. Getting hawked down by a 900-pound toddler that doesn't know their own strength is a different heart attack. And do not tell me June didn't know what she was doing, because she kept trying to act cute in my face only to bum rush me from behind. Oh, and they're a car-sized St. Bernard. You run, they see that as a license to chase.
Here you go again, June, stop.
Speaking of which, the other reason baby elephants are bad for your health. When baby elephants get excited, they make a lot of sounds. They're actually pretty noisy animals in general. Problem is, elephants are also some of the most overprotective mothers on earth, and hearing their baby make any noise sends them running. They literally warn you not to rile up June because she might think she's playing, whole time she just accidentally called a hit out on you. Keep in mind, elephants are pregnant for 2 months short of 2 years. That's a nearly 2-year internal investment, and you're grass if she thinks you're threatening it. To be fair, if you heard your child yell from across the house just to find a random man posted up next to your spawn, no amount of backpedaling will keep him in present tense. Doesn't change the fact that June raised—
It's worse than that. That's the human. You're making a case about humans, but for them, we are a species that's like too dangerous, right? In humans, like if you're some other guy is like like with your kid, you just get pissed off like because it's another man that you don't know, stranger. But we are humans, it's amongst humans. These are elephants, other species. Other species already know how far, like, we are basically horror show. And it's like, oh, a human and like the baby is crying. Like, it's automatically like, let's raise up anger level just now.
My health insurance with a different kind of charge. Yeah, baby elephants can be remarkably bad for your health. To be fair, we're kind of a disaster for theirs. We took the biggest animal on land and made their land the smallest it's ever been, and believe me, as hard as you think uprooting a family of several thousand-pound plus-size lawnmowers is, it is harder. In fact, I challenge you, play this game. 10 minutes, you'll wonder how the elephants made it work, because this game gives you a small taste of what the elephants had to go through. Alright, hold on, let me do the... Okay. Beast Lord The New Land is an animal-themed strategy mobile game. Not only does it flex vivid level designs and graphics, not only do you get more than 500 different animals to add, it shows why elephants probably hate us, because this game gives you the same problem we gave them. Your previous home is now completely unlivable, so you, Beast Lord, have to find a new place to lead your pack. You even get a spirit guide in the form of a baby elephant, and I can't believe it took me actually playing to know that. Like, do y'all not know me? I should have led with that. And just like with wild elephants, you choose how you want to proceed, and you can play the role of collector, invader, or developer. Each has their own buffs and nerfs. Like, if you're just starting out, you're better off as a collector, since that means more resources early on. But when time comes to attack, your army will be slower, and you're probably getting steamrolled. And like some choose crime, and we'll get to that, you can opt for invader, living off pillaging, and you even heal faster in battle, so it's like plot armor. Except when you go grocery shopping, because resource gathering, that's where you get nerfed. And the same way elephants influence the world as a keystone species, you can too by choosing developer, influencing the very landscape of the game. But just like a matriarch leading the herd, every decision you make determines whether you prosper or perish. But no pressure, have fun with it. And to make sure you do, Beast Lord's got an exclusive offer, and if you use the code BL777, you'll score free startups and resources you're gonna be glad you had. I'm sure they wish they did, so to start with over 10 million already have, download Beast Lord The New Land using the link in the description and start paying reparations to these elephants. You'd think June was the manifestation of a...
Alright, seriously, go to whichever page link from there, support geographic. But seriously, like, it just made me think, we show these like lions and tigers, like all roaring, all pride in like a human, the emotional sense, like just like these stoic animals who just like, all this like goody shit. In reality, they're just screaming loudly inside of them because they're trying to survive. They're like, just screaming the fuck out of it because they know they're gonna die tomorrow. They're not gonna find any food. They'll dump their, I guess, cubs or children, whatever, because like there's not enough resources to go by. Pretty fucked up life. That's what they're living, and we are out here making movies, making Pixar movies and shit, just like glorifying all that. Like, oh, look at that, and they could look at that, all that, like there's epic music playing in the background. No, they're screaming internally. That's what's happening. That's fucked up. Show that to anyone who want to watch Pixar movie before that. They're like, okay, those like trailers you get, or like public announcements before movies. Somebody should make public announcement like that, and then okay, watch Pixar now, motherfucker. I don't know, man. That's just funny as shit. And the elephant thing, right? Like elephant, the videos of elephants stopping trucks in India and things like just to get something. India and other places like that, right? I'm guessing elephants saw a checkpoint somewhere. A corrupt checkpoint, let's just say, who just like got something for just to pass through. And he's like, wait a minute, I could do that. I bet elephants did that.
Bridal generational rage. Almost the opposite, because the other dangerous thing about being around a baby elephant, well, you know how humans are the smartest things alive, allegedly, but our babies have the self-preservation of a kumquat because the learning curve is so high. There's so much elephants have to learn about elephanting that they start off kinda, I want to say unaware, which would explain why June didn't get that my pelvis physically couldn't handle a lapdog in the weight class of a cow. So yeah, you can actually get loved to death by an elephant that doesn't know any better. We're talking about a baby animal that sometimes steps on its own trunk. It can take 1 full year to figure out how to use it. Or 9 months in motivation. Yeah, June ate my poncho. Like right off my chest. Now wearing green around animals that eat grass for a living, that was a decision. But that trunk's another reason a prepubescent pachyderm can be really bad for your house, because understand, nothing's out of reach. Also, there's power in that trunk. Her name June, but she easily could have had me feeling the Mayweather in September if she swung. And if you think she couldn't move you like a gust of wind, you're lying. And I know I kind of implied they're dumb.
Yeah, see, humans and other animals basically don't scale the same way. Our strength at 300 pounds doesn't mean same as their strength at 300 pounds. Muscular structure is different, bone structure is different. So that 300-pound elephant can properly fuck up a lot of things. It's not like 300 pounds like Brock Lesnar or something, like somebody from WWE or something. That's different, right? 300-pound elephant is still a fucking elephant. It has an insane strength. You see those stumpy legs? They are generating power to just throw you off, basically. So they can really fuck you up, like crack some bones. Just enough place. That's the humans are fragile as fuck. One broken rib that stabs you in the heart, you're dead.
But like, only in the ways that are inconvenient. They know to mess with tourists for a response, and they don't forget who gave them the best one. So June targeting me, that wasn't an accident. So yeah, baby elephants are much more of a life hazard than you ever could have imagined. Question is, why did I do that to myself? Well, if this video gets, I'm gonna say 150k likes, I'll go to an elephant sanctuary somewhere and record it. 150k likes, 150k likes, 150.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to do that. That's just an excuse. He knows he's gonna get 150k like nothing. It's just like what, 24-hour video. It's already like a 60, 70k or something, right? 65k or something. So there you go.
500 people a year, and it's mostly Asian elephants.
Not the best music if you're gonna go in an elephant home, let's just say, elephant area, and playing the Undertaker music. That sends wrong vibes, let's just say. What you gonna do there?
They know the routine by now.
Yeah, I'm a man of my word, so I knew I was gonna have to see some elephants. What I didn't know was just how hard it'd be to find.
Oh wait a minute, he meant the other video. Yeah, he got 250k, not this one. Like I'm like, okay, another elephant sanctuary, not this one.
Place, and to explain why, we gotta go back. The relationship between Asian elephants and people is wildly toxic, and it starts with people destroying their habitats and taking over their ancestral avenues. But you remember what I said about that learning curve? Yeah, they wasn't going for that. As arguably the smartest thing alive that's not us, the elephants just adapted, and then you had families of elephants raiding crop fields at night or even breaking into houses to steal rice. And that's all it takes. Cause on one side, you got farmers trying to defend their livelihood from a 4-ton marauding raccoon, and on the other side, elephants are just trying to live a life that people have made that much harder. It's a vicious cycle, with elephants often getting injured or even killed by farmers protecting their stock, while hundreds of people get flatlined by those same elephants each year. And you already know, if an elephant murks a person, it's likely getting put on a shirt in retaliation. But it's also proven that kind of activity causes genuine PTSD in the survivors, making them that much more trigger happy. An unpopular opinion, I never liked how y'all made fun of this woman. Like, yeah, she could have done the elephant dirty and gotten got. That elephant also could have been a hurricane on 4 legs that was finna life retire the first person she ran into, and Maya Murmu got cheated out the game of life. Now add elephants getting exploited for things like
People does like, even I see comments like maybe they're not really processing it, just having fun because of the internet, but like people can be really insensitive and they're like, oh, this person had it coming. You need to understand the whole politics and geopolitics behind it, how things are working, right? Let's just say like poor people who just trying to get by. A destroyed corp can means like they're gonna starve. You have no idea. Like the first world problems are different compared to the third world problem, right? So nobody's gonna give a shit, right? People starve. That's what's gonna happen, right? So they are gonna basically try to hunt down elephants. Elephants, if they don't eat, they are basically fucked. So who's to blame here? I would say like if I were to blame, I would blame the government and like the agency that is like there, right? You should have like create some kind of like, countries are rich enough, at least something like India and things. Countries are rich enough that they can create some kind of sanctuary or like provide food for elephants so they don't destroy farmers, right? So it's not fair to like blame farmers because they're trying to fucking survive, right? You sitting there in your Starbucks coffee, drinking coffee and like, you know, like judging these poor farmers. That's kind of fucked up. Same thing around like elephants is trying to survive. I think it's up to government, right? Like you have to, I see stray dogs all the time, right? And like stray dogs bite people. Those people, they live in a, you know, like society, right? They don't want to go out of home and just get beaten, right? And just get like 3 injections or something. People are not wrong at getting angry at the dogs. Dogs are not wrong at to biting the people because they don't have food. Again, governments have to do something. And government is by the people, right? Like you have to raise issues. This is like, in the end of the day, politics is what it matters, right? You can just say, oh, politics, we can't do nothing about it, up the hand and like walk away. Nothing's going to change if you do that, right? So it's not blame to blame people like, oh, that person had it coming. Not really. People are just trying to survive.
logging companies and you realize that somewhere an elephant with internet made this and wanted problems. Logging was especially nasty since the Ellies would be separated from their families, abused, and usually disabled by the end since a lot of times they'd get injured but would be forced to work through it. Logging was made illegal in Thailand, but now there was a problem. Suddenly a bunch of elephants were out of work, and unemployment don't really work when you put away shacks weight in food a day. Now the only reason I brought all of that up is because it directly led to the problem I had. Stay with me now. So with so many elephants with nowhere to go, a bunch of sanctuaries started opening their doors, and it seemed like the perfect compromise. The Ellies are taken care of and get to retire, and people get to see these absolute units up close. Except a lot of times, it's the worst kind of trap. A lot of these sanctuaries are just the same problem with different gift wraps. Stay with me. You know how it became common knowledge that elephant riding is a great time for anyone not an elephant? It's cruel, it's hell on their back, and the way they trained them to do it, we'll get to that. But basically, elephant riding became a massive red flag for a reason we'll also get into, and most sanctuaries trashed it. But there's also many that offer elephant washing, and that might not seem as bad. So again, I'ma really need y'all to stay with me. Wild elephants aren't strangers to me.
The problem with elephant riding is I think it started from like war elephants way back when, right, in India. And when it comes to war, nobody gives a shit, right? If elephants abuse, if the humans are abused, it's a war. But if you use the same tactics right now when trying to train elephants like that, that's a fucking problem. But people are like, oh, this is what they used to do. Let's just pass down the knowledge and do the same thing. You're not at war, man. You're not doing this for what? These are not war elephants, right? So if you can train them any other way, fine. Then don't train it. Don't sit on elephants. Do you sit on rhino? Why do you have to sit on elephant? Like that's a problem there, right? Like people need to step in, like say, like okay, this is abusive. You don't need to ride an elephant. You're not gonna get so happy that's like transform your life or something. It's just riding an elephant. No one gives a shit. You're gonna forget 2 months after that. Stop doing that. It's not important.
Water, but they don't spend all day in there and they kind of just go as they choose. Problem is, when you sell tourists the promise of washing an elephant and they pay for it, an elephant that doesn't feel like it is bad for business. So these trunk merchants end up not having a choice, and sometimes they'll even hide bull hooks in the water to goad the elephants where they want them. By the way, that's a bull hook, and they've actually been banned in zoos. They were so cruel. And that's a problem, because if you don't know any better, you might think you're having a wholesome moment. Whole time they're suffering and you're funding it. I'll go even further. Those places where you can get a painting from an elephant, same thing. The elephant's just doing the same thing that it was slavishly taught to do since birth, often also at the threat of a bull hook. And it's not just elephants. You might remember that era of people taking pictures with tigers and putting them on Tinder. Hopefully that's the closest they ever got to well, often the tigers are declawed, defanged, and higher than Shaggy, they're drugged beyond belief. Basically, if you have a whole wild animal, one with a known human body count, just sitting there like a trained dog, yeah, you know something ain't right. And
Elephants and like tiger's son, right? Like, yeah, this just like, I don't know, right? Like every time like this kind of like validates in my head. Every time I see these videos about like tigers basically just chilling there, people doing that, like tiger, come on, son. Tiger's a killer. Tiger is a UFC heavyweight champion. You can't like, yeah, they're drugged, right? They're hurt, they're drugged. Same thing with the elephants, they're like claws and shit. Like they're literally screaming inside. Isn't that cute? Isn't that cute? This is Sea World all over again, isn't it? Those tanks are filled with, those dolphin tears. That's what this is.
These traps are literally everywhere, and they're really easy to fall for. I remember how much I wanted to see one of those otter cafes in Japan, until I found out how utterly egregious that would be. So now you see my problem. If I don't go to a sanctuary, then I'm the guy that lied to millions of people. If I do go but promote the wrong one, at that point I might as well just nuke my channel. But then I thought, I shouldn't worry about going to a good elephant sanctuary. I should go to the elephant sanctuary. And on that note, introducing... This is Lek Chyler. Her name means tiny, she's about 4'10", and she's the biggest fucking G you'll ever meet. She's an animal lover with an elephant-sized soft spot in her heart. It's low-key medically alarming, but she seems fine. And when she was young, she witnessed the horror of the elephant logging and riding business. I know I said we get back to the training stuff, so... yeah, cause out of all the things I've talked about, this might unironically be the most disturbing. You ever wonder how a highly intelligent animal known to get people PTSD takes so much grief from something 40 times lighter? Unfortunately, it's called the crush, and it involves isolating a baby elephant, tying it to a box, and beating it. For 24 hours, bull hooks, nails, chains, all of it. Why? Well, you remember how I said the mothers are overprotective? Well, elephants are also the biggest mama's boys in nature, and this brutal brainwashing means their love for their mother now gets overshadowed by their new fear of man. And if it doesn't work in the first 24, then they just go back for another 24 hours.
Look, man, India is a big country, too many population, it's really hard to govern, but that excuse is kind of like getting old now, even to me, right? I don't know, man. There should be someone like, okay, you're not gonna starve if you don't like be in an elephant fucking business. Do something else. Fuck off. But like, this is insane. Some animal agency needs to step in, right? Like, stop doing this shit, right? And look, man, here's what I'm gonna say. Like, 50 years ago, yes, India was really hard to like. There are places in India that even like police and like military would be having hard time. Like, there were literal like places which is like, you just don't go type of way. That's not the case today. It doesn't matter which place it is in the country. Doesn't matter what you heard in the story. That's all BS. Indian government, police, and law can get to anything. They're powerful enough, right? They have resources enough, right? You can enforce a lot of things. You just don't because like why no one gives a shit. That's the thing, right? India is a 1.4 billion population causes an issue where like people are so like people in their own zone that it's really hard to pay attention to something else because there's so much thing going on and like a lot of things falls through the crack, right? Shit like this because people are fixated on something else, and if there is not enough like friction, like no politician cares. That's the fucked up thing.
And then another, until eventually the baby's too traumatized to even look at its mother. It's called the crush, because they literally crush their spirit. You look them in the eyes, there's nothing left. I'm not showing videos because one, YouTube seems to hate talking about animal more than they hate the itself, and two, I don't know if you've ever heard an elephant scream for its mother, but mama, sorry for my language, that will fuck you up. That's the part of riding an elephant you don't see, and I'ma just say it. I rode an elephant as a kid. That memory will forever be tainted. Yeah, Lex saw that, now it's her villain origin story, or at least part of it. Because she obviously tried to spread the word, but not only was elephant trekking a huge business in Thailand, it was a business her own family was in. So that villain story just went Joker. But didn't I tell you Tiny is a G? She wasn't going for it, and she kept applying pressure. And while she did make noise, she'd be doubly disowned by the government and her own family. Well, not all of them, because the elephants would be her family, and in 1995, Lek Chyler would found the Elephant Nature Park near Chiang Mai, Thailand, which has since rescued over 200 elephants, where not a single bullhook's used and a trunk tyler has no reason to fear people, which gave me every reason to fear June. That girl legitimately terrorized me, and the worst part is I'll let her do it again, no questions asked. You know they put elephants first when you got baby June out here wildin'. So yeah, after hearing about it, reading about it, and even watching a movie about it, I knew exactly where I was going. And after 20 hours, a couple layovers, and a drive up a mountain, my nerves did not appreciate. Oh Lord, he coming. Nice. First thing they did when we got there was hand me a bucket of watermelon, which I thought was a sick joke until I realized it wasn't for me. Now, if you've been paying attention, you might have a question. Casual, what's the difference between feeding an elephant and watching or riding one? I'm so glad you asked. The whole point is these problem sanctuaries have elephants doing things they wouldn't be doing in the wild. Yeah, elephants spend 20 hours a day eating. You'd have to really commit to overfeed one. It's also good because the mahouts raising them can motivate them with food. No hooks required. And that's what makes EMP so great, because even though it's Thailand, everything runs on EST. Elephant Standard Time. Like, you pay to be around elephants, but they decide what you do and how long you do it. For example, where they dropped us off and where we went to go meet the rest of the herd was about a 20-30 minute walk in theory. Yeah, it took 2 hours because EST means if an elephant pulls over and says it's snack time, then it's snack time. Notice.
Yeah, I mean, if you walk like very leisurely, like just like you're jamming the music with the headphones, it's gonna take when they said 20-30 minutes, like walk, pace it up. It's like you're literally jogging, but like you're fast pacing at that point. Run a fucking marathon. Yeah, that's what they do there, right? They don't care if you come from your like cities and like first world things where you just like chill down and walk. No. You walk like we walk, like you run, walk. That's what you do.
And if you get caught in the rain because an elephant decides to do skincare, then that's what it is. If you mad, meditate on it. Oh, speaking of the others, it wasn't just June. I also met this young lady, Kampang. And when I say young, I'm talking 51 trips around the sun. And here you got Nungpup. She's 44 with plenty of room for more. Also, you don't just play with pachyderms all day. You actually go through a day in the life of a volunteer here. Like learning how to make an elephant's favorite snack, rice balls with bananas, tamarinds, and maize. And you can't tell, but I was strongly considering taking one for myself. Oh, the smell. I just know it was bussin'. I also got to meet the resident angsty teenage male, and yeah, everything I have joked about June goes doubly dead serious for Buddy. The males get solitary confinement, and before you feel bad, it's for a very good reason. Anyway, you get to see elephants in their natural and even learn stuff along the way. Elephants are walking instruments. You wouldn't believe the kind of sounds that come out of them. I also never realized how much I needed elephant ASMR. The other thing is, elephants make a lot of noise. Except when they don't want to. When elephants go incognito, they don't make a sound, and since they're technically always tiptoeing, you really might not hear them coming. If you're trying to set a record for weight loss, there'd be times I turn away for half a second and
Yeah, and also like stumpy legs, so like the footprint is really flat. It might not make a noise. right? That's you wanna imagine at night you're standing just basically like a farm type area, open grass. It's barely you can like move it, barely you can see something, and a big ass 10,000 pound elephant sneak up on you and just standing behind you. I would shit myself. I don't know, like because I know elephants are not like like dangerous if they don't want to, but still like at night only elephant I'm there, like I'm basically dead if that elephants won't be dead at that point.
6,000 pounds of mass would just be missing. It was actually kind of freaky. Another thing. Hello. Elephants can smell numbers. They have the best noses on Earth, and experiments show they can actually smell what sealed bucket has the most sunflower seeds without looking. But it also means when they give you a sack of bananas to feed them, they know exactly how much you got on you. You will not be convincing them otherwise. I really tried to pull a fast one. Shorty said, yeah, you not doing that.
Oh, I don't have any more. And this elephant looks behind to other elephant, just starts laughing. Like, look at this fool. Look at this fool right here. Like, go, lose it. Come on.
Run it. Also, wait, where's the rest of you? Oh, yep, there they are. Elephants are way better climbers than I thought. Like, I don't know how they got up there. No, like literally, I tried to follow them. I couldn't. To me, the most important thing, and I hope y'all get to do this at least once, but when you look an elephant in the eyes, that's just a feeling like you can see how intelligent they are. You can see how aware and like what they've been through, and I don't know. There's something about making eye contact with an animal that's suffered so much and finally knows it's safe. That's a core moment. And the thing is, I just know if more people knew, they'd take this over any other elephant flex you could buy. It's really the elephant nature park. And I'm gonna break your heart one last time, because now the real reason for this video. They actually flooded right after I left, and we're talking the worst one in the wild for a place that's pretty used to it. And while a little water's normally nothing to an elephant, a lot of the ones here are disabled from years of work. We're talking dislocated hips, injuries from stepping on landmines, and some of them are even blind. And unfortunately, 2 of the elephants I met, they're not here anymore. So there's an emergency flood relief fund to help them recover, and they could really use some help, so you already know where that link's going. It'll be in the description. Also, it's not just elephants. ENP has cows, pigs, monkeys, geese, and a very friendly population of dogs. They've done a lot of good in the world, and right now they really need that back, so if you can help, if you're able, that'd be great. But even in the worst possible time, elephants show me why they're my favorite. These 3 elephants are actually guiding a 4th blind one, walking just slow enough and making just enough noise for her to safely follow. And if that doesn't make you want to protect them at all costs, nothing will. Also interviewed one of the mahouts, and the full conversation will be posted on Patreon. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. Make sure you actually know there's one more thing. Thank you. Ooh, that was corny, but hear me out. And this year I went to the Turtle Center in the Cayman Islands, swam with sharks in Hawaii, and now I got to meet my favorite animal, and I do not do any of that without y'all. I don't think y'all understand. Like, y'all done changed the trajectory of my whole life. My job before this had nothing to do with animals. Now I basically LARP as Nigel Thornberry. Like you, for real? I'll never not be grateful for y'all. Even if this is your first time watching, the fact that you watched this far. Alright, that's enough much. I'm gonna need y'all to drink water, hug your mother.
Yeah, I've said this in one of the history video from Fat Nutrition. Like, today's time, like you can say a lot of things. Like, internet has helped a lot of people. Like, there was a literal gap, right? There's like either you just do a desk job, or you're like rich enough to start a company or some shit, otherwise you're screwed, right? Oh, by the way, I like doing this, but I can't, so I have to be an accountant. People are depressed all the time. That was the case back then. Nowadays it's changing a lot, and that is like really positive, right? Like I said, certain what he done, like recent Fat Nutrition video. If that guy was today here and just being a elevator man, that's what he was. He could have started a podcast and it would have been successful. His life was that ridiculous, going to France and World War II and everything. So someone like geographic who could have had some job that he doesn't like, because I've been watching geographic channels in a long time. I know he's a massive animal fan since he was a kid, collecting things and all that shit, and he can finally do this because of the internet, right? He can actually go places, make people happy, like millions of people watch his channel. The internet is just better in that way. So everything has a pros and cons. We see internet as social media is just this thing that you just consume, and it's just like rage baiting and all that. That is definitely there. But there's also a positive side like this. A lot of creative people can actually do creative shit. And more than that, I've seen people in a really fucked up situation where they're insanely poor, doesn't have much to do, and they have really bad jobs. But in breaks, they can just hung on a phone like that, probably watching YouTube videos or something. So it's both sides. In any other time where really poor people would have been depressed the hell out of it because they don't have anything to do, they're in very bad job. and that's their life. You see like people basically dead when you see in their eyes, like really old videos, you see people just sitting there doing nothing. That shit doesn't apply today because everybody has a smartphone. Even the poorest people can afford a cheap smartphone and can just watch YouTube videos. So people are not depressed. People can be entertained just watching the phone because their life is so fucked up. They can still watch the phone. People are really creative. Don't get depressed. They don't have to do some job they don't want to because internet is there. If they're really creative, they will be successful. Internet has like massive positives when you really think about it, right? Well, that was why you can't have a baby elephant for Christmas, because they're fucking elephant. You don't need more than that. They're elephants. Like if that doesn't automatically click in your head, like okay, you have to read one or two more books because this should be intuitive at this point. This is why the channel Geographic. If you like my channel, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.